Breaking news from WRAL. Coverage you can count on.
Breaking news right now at 8 o'clock. Sky 5 over a crash near Knightdale after a FedEx truck went over a bridge and caught fire. What people who live nearby heard and saw.
And we're talking about a deadly overnight crash. Investigators say that a driver died after that crash in Clayton. We'll take you right to the scene and explain what we've learned else happened.
And this morning, a little bit of a dip in the humidity levels. We'll show you how long that lasts before we see the return of more intense heat. That's coming up in just a minute.
Yay, more intense heat.
Just what we want to
I love
hear.
that for us.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining us here in WRAL News on Fox 50. I'm Chris Lovington.
And Michelle McConaughey. Yeah, well, it is July, so that comes with it, right? The intense heat. But we are getting a little bit of a break. Meteorologist Chris Michaels here to tell us about the temperatures right now. I don't think I've seen 70s in a really long time.
I'm just saying, like, this is the only thing that's preventing me from putting a brown bag over my head, because this month is just, it's been brutal, right? Temperatures 70 to 74 degrees out there now. We were in the 60s earlier, which was the first in over a month. Rocky Mount, South Hill checking in at 72 degrees, and temperatures will continue to climb naturally as we get into the afternoon. Midday, we're in the mid 80s with highs today, making it into the low 90s. But by then, humidity levels will come back down just a little bit more, and that's certainly some welcome news. Now, over the past month, we've seen average highs in the low to mid 90s and average lows in the mid 70s. If you were to compare that to the average for this time of year, it'd be more like Houston, Texas. And guys, we're going to get back to that, if not above that, heading into the weekend. We'll show you how many days we'll see heat advisories issued again coming up. Ken?
All right, happening now in the WRAL Traffic Center. Let's get right to that situation on I-540 eastbound at that bridge where the FedEx truck went off the bridge there on Linwood Road. That's where we find WRAL's Ali Katlabar and photographer Michael Joyner in the WRAL Breaking News Tracker. Ali, you've had an opportunity to talk to first responders and neighbors in that area.
Yes, Ken, and we are going to get to that. But right now, we do want to point your attention to this cleanup effort now underway. We've seen fire crews tackle this fire, and now we've seen a crane just within the past 5 minutes pull that 18-wheeler, that FedEx truck, back upright. And so, again, this FedEx truck, it veered off of I-540, went down a hill, and then crashed. And then the battalion chief here, he tells us that it ignited, and the driver, he was taken to the hospital. He was hurt. But we did speak with neighbors just about what they woke up to this morning, people in this area. So listen to what one neighbor had to say when he woke up this morning, and just what it was like living by 540 and witnessing this.
Never thought there would be an incident of this magnitude. Golly. This is a huge thing. I was just like, what the devil? You know, this is crazy. So how do you do that?
Yeah, and as you can tell, this is still very active. This is Linwood Road underneath I-540, still closed right now. We are still seeing a lot of smoke in this area, a lot of steam. So, Ken, what other routes should people take, and is there any delay?
Right now, I'm glad you asked, Ali, because right now we're keeping that up. We're not seeing any delays on I-540 or any delays on Knightdale Boulevard right now. So people are avoiding that area altogether. And of course, Linwood Road is in a neighborhood area, and a lot of people just taking alternate routes to avoid that area. Right now, I-40 westbound there, south is really that congestion clearing because of this crash that's off to the shoulder of the road. At one point, that delays were stretching all the way back to the I-440 interchange. Things are also beginning to ease up on these lanes on I-87 southbound coming in from Knightdale. If you're in a rush, you might want to take the Smithfield Road exit and head over to Poole and get you back on the Beltline. You're getting ready to head out the door. Tune us in on the radio, 101.5 HD3.
Developing this morning, investigators spent hours on the scene of a deadly crash in Clayton. That's where we find WRAL's Kelsey Coffey. She went there to see what she could learn, and she joins us live this morning. Good morning, Kelsey.
Chris, good morning. That scene here cleared around 6:30 this morning. Officers spent several hours here, at least 6 hours. We'll take you to some video now so you can see the truck that was involved in this crash being towed away. Clayton police say the driver who was involved in this crash died. Now, this all happened on East Front Street, and officers received a call about this around 12:30 this morning. So right now we're working to find out the name of that driver who died, as well as what led up to this crash. Kelsey Coffey, WRAL News. I'm in Clayton.
New overnight, Raleigh police are looking for the person accused of shooting into an apartment. The WRAL breaking news tracker was first on the scene at Oak City Apartments on Calvary Drive. Raleigh police received a call about shots fired around midnight. They say a person was shooting at the complex from a Food Lion parking lot that's nearby. One of the bullets hit an apartment unit that had at least one person inside. Luckily, nobody was injured.
A death investigation is underway in Edgecombe County. The sheriff's office says deputies were called to Koki Road and Rocky Mount just before midnight. And so we sent the WRAL breaking news tracker there after learning about what happened. But by the time we got there, that scene was clear. So that's why we have reached out to the Edgecombe County Sheriff's Office for more information. And specifically, we're asking what led to that death, where was the person found, and if investigators have any suspects.
This morning, police are searching for the person or people responsible for smash and grab robberies at multiple Triangle bars and shops. At least 2 of the robberies seem to have been carried out by the same person. They happened just minutes apart early Tuesday morning in Durham. You're looking at security camera footage from Luella Wine, Beer and Beverages and Durham Beer Garden. The bar's owner even watched the robbery play out live after getting an alert from her alarm company.
It's just concerning. As a small business owner, you never want to see anything bad happening.
And the Bend Bar in Raleigh, they reported a similar incident on Monday. WRAL has reached out to both Raleigh and Durham police departments to ask whether these incidents are connected or if any suspects have been identified.
New this morning, Goldsboro police identified one of 2 suspects they say were involved in a police chase. Investigators say this happened around 3:30 yesterday afternoon. An officer tried to pull over a car for an expired registration, and that's when they say the passenger fired a gun at the officer and then ran away. Police say the driver then sped off. Both were eventually arrested, though. And investigators say the driver is 23-year-old Nyan Lathan, and the second suspect, though, has not been identified.
Durham police need your help looking for a man they say is missing and endangered. This is 25-year-old Toyi Tondere. He was last seen at 7:30 last night in the 400 block of East Pilot Street. Durham police say he has a cognitive impairment. If you have seen him or know where he may be, call 911 right away.
The Cumberland County Sheriff's Office says Craig Hansel, that's the man a deputy shot and killed Sunday night. This happened when the Sheriff's Office responded to a call about a man with a gun. He was at the scene of a brush fire on Airline Drive. 4 deputies were placed on leave after that shooting, and that's typically what happens after a deputy shoots and kills a person.
Sweet relief. The power is back on for everyone in Enfield, and now the focus shifts to preventing future problems. After 4 days in the dark, crews temporarily restored power around 1 o'clock yesterday afternoon. 2 of their power circuits are tied together. That is something that will need to be changed long term. But for now, people said they were just happy to get their first comfortable night's sleep since Friday.
Oh, that's good. Most definitely good, because this is my sister-in-law right here, and she was without power. I'm glad she doesn't have to be hot. My niece up there with these babies, she no longer has to be hot. So all I can say is God is good.
And Mayor Montel Robinson says he is talking with state officials to come up with a fix for the aging infrastructure. He says the system is roughly 50 years old.
A German biotech company chose Morrisville for its first U.S. facility. Coriolis Pharma plans to invest $10 million and create 50 jobs. The company is the first tenant at the Spark Access building. It specializes in drug product development as well as in analytical and manufacturing purposes. A Triangle College is the site of a new round of layoffs. Meredith College laid off 6% of its employees, citing financial pressure. A statement called the moves, quote, necessary and proactive steps in preserving Meredith's long-term strength. As a private institution, Meredith's total budget is not available to the public.
The city of Rocky Mount is getting $3 million to make commuting to and from Raleigh easier. It's using the grant from the State Department of Transportation to launch a commuter bus service. The service will launch with a dedicated route between Rocky Mount and Raleigh. It'll operate during peak commuting hours Monday through Friday. There's no set date for when the service will launch at this time. And new this morning, a family-owned restaurant is announcing plans for a fundraiser. This after a car crashed right into its dining area earlier this month. Hall's Grill in Sampson County has been closed since July 13th. Owner Cynthia Hall says the damage will cost about $70,000 to repair. She says there will be a fundraiser for the restaurant. They'll be selling tickets, and more information is expected later today. A GoFundMe started by the restaurant has raised more than $2,000 so far.
Tonight, the third installment of the Live After 5 concert series is happening in downtown Raleigh. It's a family-friendly block party with live music, food trucks, and more. Cooley High and Charlie Lowry will be performing tonight, and the fun kicks off at 6 p.m. and goes until 9. The fourth and final Live After 5 event this year will be on August 20th. WRAL is the proud media partner for that. Your time's 8:10, honoring Ozzy Osbourne. Tributes are pouring in after the death of the heavy metal star. How his fans and other music legends are celebrating his life.
And this morning, starting out with at least reasonable humidity levels, but that's soon to change. Above average temperatures back in the forecast. We'll show you when we see highs near 100 degrees again coming up.
And we are following the newest developments after a FedEx truck crashed on I-540 and caught fire. This is a live look at that scene. We'll check back in with WRAL's Ali Kadlabar.
Coming up on 8:14 this morning, a brief update into the tropics. We take you into the Gulf, where yet again we have a 10% chance of development. A large area of high pressure over the U.S. is going to keep that south of us, and I'll explain the more direct effect that high pressure system has on us coming up in just a little bit. But in the meantime, this morning, not too bad. Cary, Nightdale, Garner, Wake Forest, Apex, Fuquay at 71. Clayton's one of the warm spots this morning at 75 degrees. We'll take it up to about 81 at 11 a.m. The food truck forecast looking good midday. We're in the mid 80s, so already looking ahead to the lunch break. I don't blame you. Temperatures upper 80s and lower 90s today. The northeast breeze is going to keep humidity levels from getting stifling, but it can only do so for so long. We'll show you when we see the potential for more heat alerts coming up, Ken.
All right, Chris, happening now in the WRAL Traffic Center. We're going to get right to that breaking news we've been following all morning long. A FedEx truck going off a bridge off of I-540 eastbound. That's where we have Ali Kadlabar and Michael joining the WRAL Breaking News Tracker with information that you've been gathering for the last hour or so, Ali.
Yes, Ken, and just within the past 10 minutes, we are seeing a lot of cleanup underway here, but we have seen some of that steam and smoke. Instead of going up, it's now going toward us, toward the camera here. And so we are seeing crews. They are kind of taking out some hot spots here. But again, this crash happened about 3 hours ago, more than 3 hours ago. This FedEx driver was driving east on I-540 and then went off the road, down a hill, crashed, and then the truck caught on fire. The driver was taken to the hospital with some injuries. Of course, you know, I-540, it is moving smoothly. I do want to add that the bridge, they said that the bridge was not damaged. So that's good news for drivers here on I-540. But are there any delays, Ken?
No delays, believe it or not, Alice. We come back to the WRAL Live Traffic Center. We're not seeing any delays on I-540 in either direction or on Nightdale Boulevard. So everything is isolated there to Linwood Road, and a lot of people who live in that area are avoiding that area altogether. This crash on I-40 westbound there, South Saunders is cleared, but we're still seeing a little bit of a lingering delay here on I-40 westbound, but things are actually moving along rather smoothly.
All right, thank you, Ken. Legendary heavy metal rocker Ozzy Osbourne, known for outrageousness on and off stage, died on Tuesday. This morning, rock musicians and celebrities are sharing their heartfelt tributes. He was called the Prince of Darkness. Osbourne died following years of health issues, just weeks after he played his final show in the UK. As frontman for Black Sabbath, Osbourne's charisma on and off the stage made him a cultural phenomenon. Osbourne had a sprawling music career with the group that that led to his own successful solo career with over 100 million records sold worldwide. After the news of his death, tributes pouring in from around the world. Elton John writing to his Instagram, he was a dear friend and a huge trailblazer, a true legend. I send my condolences and love. And Billy Idol also taking to Instagram, saying Ozzy embodied the spirit of rock and roll, and he performed right to the end. Osbourne's family did not specify a cause of death. He was 76 years old.
Today, lawmakers in the U.S. House will begin their summer recess early, and that's because they're going to head back home to their states after votes that were scheduled for tomorrow were canceled. The decision from House Speaker Mike Johnson blocks a vote on the release of Jeffrey Epstein's files. The Justice Department will meet with Epstein's associate, Ghislaine Maxwell, in the next few days. And the meeting is happening after increasing backlash over the Trump administration's handling of the Epstein files.
Columbia University is handing down punishments to more than 70 students over pro-Palestinian protests on campus. The university says it is disciplining students who took over the campus library back in May. It's also punishing students who were involved in a similar protest during the school's alumni weekend last year. Sources tell NBC News that 2/3 of the students were suspended for 2 years. The crackdown comes after the Trump administration cut hundreds of millions of dollars worth of research grants to the school.
Health Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. is being sued by the anti-vax group that he founded. The lawsuit filed by Children's Health Defense claims that Kennedy has failed to establish a task force dedicated to making child vaccines safer. And that's the responsibility of the health secretary, according to legislation dating back decades. But no health secretary has ever done it. The health department has not commented on that lawsuit. A Durham couple wants answers right now after a hotel turned them away while they were seeking shelter after Chantal's flooding. Ira and Gwendolyn Montague live just feet away from the Eno River. They lost everything in Chantal. After a few days at the Holiday Inn, Gwendolyn made a reservation on Priceline for Candlewood Suites. When the Montagues arrived, they learned their stay was canceled.
He said, "You're Gwendolyn?" I said, "Yes, your reservation's been canceled." "What you mean my reservation been canceled?"
Because I was saying, we flood victims, man. I mean, come on.
He had no compassion. It didn't matter.
And then he turned around and went on back
and left us standing there.
Gwendolyn snapped a picture of this sign reading, quote, "No accommodations for Durham County residents." And that's why we reached out to IHG. That's the group that owns Candlewood Suites. A spokesperson said the hotel's policies are designed to reinforce guest safety and security. But regardless, the chain did apologize for the inconvenience, writing, quote, "We have paused our policy regarding local guests during this time to ensure the utmost care and consideration for residents in need."
All right, I am here in the WRAL Weather Center with meteorologist Chris Michaels. They say Christmas in July, right? That's like a thing. Yeah. This is a gift today.
It really is, yeah. I walked into the gym the other day. I saw this Christmas tree, and I'm like, what?
Christmas in July,
here's your
gift.
Here it is, and it's for free. There is. So, yeah, lower humidity for sure that we've seen since yesterday. It's been the lowest that we've seen in about 3 weeks. Now, again, it doesn't feel like autumn out there, but at least it's some relief. We'll take it while we can get it. Temperature right now at 74 in the Triangle. We make it up to 84 by midday, with high temperatures still going to be in that upper 80s, lower 90s range, similar to yesterday, and with humidity levels dropping just a tick heading into the afternoon. Highs across the board, 88 to 92, Benson at about 90 degrees. Back up the view, though, and you see all these heat alerts stretching to the west, all the way from New Orleans up to areas like Minneapolis there. So this is going to be one of those heat domes that just takes over the eastern U.S., and you can see that kind of dome at high pressure creates. Once it builds and it strengthens, the heat intensifies for a lot of us, and that's going to include our area. Now, in order for us to see a heat advisory issued by the National Weather Service, the heat index has to be 104 to 109. So let's see the days where that's possible, and I've shaded that here for Saturday, and it looks like most, if not all of us, will see that potential for Saturday. Fast forward to Sunday, most, if not all of us, once again seeing that chance. And you'll see why when I show you the extended forecast, because again, the heat is one thing, then you have the humidity, and that does make a comeback here heading into the weekend. So all the more reason to enjoy today. Your 7-day forecast showing temperatures low to mid 90s by tomorrow. By Friday, we'll take it up a notch, and then really heading into the weekend is when we expect some brutal heat. High temperatures near 100 degrees. And then we're at about that mark early next week with isolated storms too. Ken?
All right, Chris, happening now in the WRAL traffic center. We're going to keep our viewers updated on that situation on I-540 eastbound, that bridge where that FedEx truck went off the bridge and over onto Linwood Road there near Nightdale Boulevard. Here's a live look at that scene with the help of photographer Michael Joyner. You can see what we're talking about. First responders have begun the cleanup effort. They've been there since about 5 o'clock this morning when the driver of that truck went off the road and onto that area of Linwood Road, I should say. That driver has been taken to the hospital. We're working to figure out exactly his condition and how this crash happened. The first responders are doing a really great job. They're trying to get that road cleared, but Linwood Road will remain closed for quite some time. The good news is we're not seeing any delays in I-540 or Nightdale Boulevard, so that's something to keep in mind as you navigate the morning rush hour. Right now, things have definitely begun to clear up on I-40 westbound because of a crash that happened right here on I-40 westbound at South Saunders, not causing any problems right now. We're seeing the congestion beginning to ease as well, even though it looks like it's bumper-to-bumper traffic on I-87 in these southbound lanes. If you're in a rush this morning, you might want to get off on the Smithfield Road exit, work your way over to Pool Road, and back onto the Beltline. That will get you around the slowdowns that we're seeing on I-87. In terms of other major routes coming into the capital city, here's what you're looking at, especially if you're coming in from Nightdale this morning. It's a situation where you're looking at an 8-minute delay, about a 7-minute delay if you're coming in from Wake Forest.
All right, thank you, Ken. Still ahead, fake safety gear. That good deal you found online for a child car seat or bike helmet might be a dangerous dud. 5 on Your Side explains the warning from Consumer Reports about fakes being sold on major retailers' websites.
Plus, ramping up funding. We're going to bring you what our NC Capitol team has uncovered about former Governor Roy Cooper's potential political future.
As you get into your car, tune to WRAL News Plus on your radio. In Raleigh on 99.3 FM. In Durham, 96.5 FM. And everywhere on 101.5 HD3.
Good morning and happy Wednesday. Time now is 8:26. I'm Michelle McConaughey. Meteorologist Chris Michaels has a little bit of a gift for us today. Lower humidity.
Yeah, not too bad out there, right? Not overly humid like it's been in recent days and recent weeks. Still fairly hot, 91, but that northeast breeze is going to keep the dew points within a reasonable range. They'll be in the low to mid 60s here as we head into the afternoon. So we'll enjoy that while we have it. You look out toward the west and you see all those heat alerts stretching from Louisiana all the way up to Minnesota. Over on Fox 50, I'm going to show you what it takes to get those heat alerts and when I expect those in our area. That's coming up in just a few minutes. Ken?
Chris, we've got a handful of trouble spots. Let's start with a crash in downtown Raleigh. It's a crash on Cabarrus Street in the westbound lane there, Salisbury Street. You can see the huge delays it's causing right near the convention center. So if that's part of your morning commute, you probably want to use an alternate route there in the downtown area. We've got a couple of incidents on I-440 westbound, one on near Six Forks Road causing a little bit of a delay. We also have another crash on near New Bern Avenue exit that's causing some huge delays in that area. You're probably looking at a 5-minute delay if you're taking that northern loop of the Beltline at this hour.
All right, thank you, Ken. Right now, you are looking live at the scene of the FedEx truck crash on Linwood Road. Nightdale police say the driver was injured and transported to Wake Med after the truck drove right off of I-40. Linwood Road is closed between Pine Acres Court and the Planters Walk pool near Lawrence Way. Drivers are urged to avoid that area. And this morning, a driver is dead after a serious crash involving a black pickup truck in Clayton. This happened on East Front Street. Officers received a call around 12:30 this morning. We are working to find out the name of the driver and what led to this crash. We'll have more news, weather, and traffic on Fox 50.
Now, breaking news from WRAL. Coverage you can count on.
Breaking right now at 8:30, we are on the scene of 2 serious crashes, one in Nightdale, one in Clayton. This is a look at both scenes. The new information we are learning about both this morning.
Plus, a car crash into a church. Very intense. We're going to show you more of this new video and that mess it left behind.
Thankfully this morning, the heat, the humidity, not very intense, but that break is short-lived. I'll show you when we see the potential for more heat advisories coming up.
yes. So we're getting a brief relief, but that's it. We'll have more from Chris coming up in just a minute. Thanks for sticking with us. I'm Michelle McConaughey.
I'm Chris Levigan. I would argue that Chris is probably everyone's favorite person on TV
Today,
right
yeah,
now in the area,
100%.
bringing this good news. I'll take waking up in the 70s, sure.
It's been 3 weeks of being the most hated. I'll take it today. Yeah, a little bit of a breeze out there. You can see that blowing outside of the legislative building. And so that breeze coming in out of the northeast gives us a little bit of a break from the humidity. It's, again, not a huge break, but we'll take anything we can get. Temperatures out the door, 72 to 75. Fayetteville and Goldsboro, 73. Raleigh and Durham at 74 so far. Today's my day that I'm planning to get some yard work done. Probably going to wait until the evening when temperatures are in the 80s. But if you're hydrated enough and taking breaks this afternoon in the low 90s is not quite as intense as what we've seen in recent weeks. The little drop in humidity, it goes a long way. It reduces rain chances to about 20% over the next few afternoons. Pardon me. By Sunday, we'll see a slight uptick in our storm chances, but an even bigger uptick in temperatures. I'll show you when we see highs near 100. Ken?
All right, happening now in the WRAL traffic center. That situation on I-540 eastbound near Linwood Road there in Knightdale is a situation where a FedEx truck went off that bridge and over into the embankment. And that's where we find Ali Catalbar and photographer Michael Joyner in the WRAL Breaking News Tracker. And Ali, you've had a chance to talk with neighbors, first responders. They've started that cleanup effort.
Yes, and first responders here, the battalion chief on the scene says that this cleanup process, it's going to take hours, and they've already been out here since 5 this morning. We wanted to show you, just look at this. This is the 18-wheeler that caught fire, the FedEx truck. It is completely charred and is still steaming from that fire. This is video from Sky 5 earlier this morning. You can see it on fire. Now, the battalion chief tells us that this all happened around 5 this morning. The FedEx truck veered off of I-540 down a hill, then crashed, and then caught on fire. The driver was taken to the hospital with injuries. The battalion chief says that it was a very tough fire to tackle.
Some of the challenges that we had this morning were getting to it with the truck being in the woods and in a creek. It was just getting to everything with the amount of trees around and the amount of fire. We had a pretty, what we would call a pretty heavy fire load. So again, with the diesel fuel burning, the boxes burning, it was just a challenge getting to everything.
And again, that cleanup process, they say, is it's a very hefty cleanup process. A crane is out here, tow truck is out here. And I do want to add that it was carrying packages. We saw that in the Sky 5 video. The Federal Motor Carrier Safety Administration says that one of these trucks carries about 75 to 150 packages. So there's a lot of cleanup underway here, Ken.
And some folks will not be receiving their packages today, unfortunately. We do know that in that particular area, we're not seeing any delays on I-540 or Knightdale Boulevard. We're seeing a little bit of a delay on certain parts of Knightdale Boulevard, but that probably has to do with the traffic lights and congestion this morning. We're seeing some huge congestion building on West Cabarrus Street, right in the downtown area near Salisbury Street because of this crash. You might want to use McDowell as an alternate route to get into the capital city this morning. We also have a situation on I-440 in the westbound lanes. We have a crash here near Six Forks Road. We also have a crash near the New Bern Avenue exit as well, both causing some delays in that particular area. So that northern loop of the Beltline, you're probably looking at a 5-minute delay.
And Jeff Hogan in the WRAL Live Center. I want to take you to a live scene that's happening right now in downtown Raleigh. Here, as you see, West Cabarrus Street and Gale Street. This is a scene of an RPD motorcycle unit laid down in the street right there. The street is blocked off right now. There's another vehicle that is involved in this. I saw investigators just a few seconds ago who were marking some of that debris that's in there. There's a Mercedes Sprinter van with some damage to the front end, as you see right there. RPD just after 7:45 this morning said that one of their motorcycle units was involved in a crash with a vehicle right at that West Cabarrus and Gale Street intersection. Chief Rico Boyce is on that scene, as we understand. He is going to be making a statement very soon, and we're going to bring you that statement here live on Fox 50 when that happens. Just having the chief on the scene there gives it a little more heightened sense of severity there, but we don't want to read any more into it from that. This is a live look right here, and we'll tell you exactly what is happening here as soon as Chief Boyce comes to the podium.
All right, we'll see that in just a bit. Thank you, Jeff. Developing this morning, investigators are looking into what led to a deadly crash in Clayton. WRAL's Kelsey Coffey takes you to that scene to explain what we learned.
Officers spent nearly 6 hours here on East Front Street investigating after that crash. Check out this video of the truck involved being towed away from the scene. Clayton police say the driver involved was killed. No one else was hurt. You can see Clayton Fire responding to the crash after officers received a call around 12:30 this morning. Video from the early morning hours showed that truck behind a utility pole after the driver ran off the road. Once officers were able to move the truck, they spent another hour investigating here on the scene. We're working to find out the name of the driver who was killed, as well as what led up to this crash. Kelsey Coffey, WRAL News in Clayton.
And Raleigh police are looking for someone responsible for shooting at apartments. The WRAL breaking news tracker was first on the scene at Oak City Apartments on Calvary Drive. Raleigh police received a call about shots fired around midnight. They say a person was shooting at the complex from a Food Lion parking lot that's nearby. One of the bullets hit an apartment unit that had at least one person inside. Luckily, nobody was hurt.
Death investigation underway in Edgecombe County. That's something we're tracking right now. As the sheriff's office says, deputies were called to Koki Road and Rocky Mountain just before midnight. That's why we sent the WRAL breaking news tracker to that scene after learning about it. But by the time we got there, that scene was clear. That's why we have reached out to get more information on this, asking specifically what led to the death, where is that person found, and if investigators have any suspects. Chapel Hill police are looking for a 16-year-old they say is considered armed and dangerous. Sean Dunn is wanted in connection with a carjacking in Chapel Hill. They believe Dunn is one of three people, stole a car from two people at gunpoint on Saturday. Police have connected that carjacking with an armed robbery just last Thursday.
2 arrests have been made in a deadly shooting in Wake County involving a juvenile. This was the scene of the shooting. It happened at a Nightdale gas station about 2 weeks ago. 29-year-old Trayvon MacArthur was arrested in Nash County and charged with murder. He also faces drug charges. 32-year-old Devontae Gary, he is charged in connection with the shooting, but not directly with the murder. He also faces drug charges.
I want to bring you new video this morning showing a car crashing into a Fayetteville church. Goodness, from the sparks to the crash, very intense video here. The Berean Baptist Church on Glensford Drive shared this video online showing a white car losing control and then slamming into the church's entrance. At one point, it appears to show the driver running away. The church says no one was injured, but we have reached out to Fayetteville police to learn more about this case.
Jordan Lake could be open to visitors as soon as next week as the water level gets closer to normal. At the highest point in recent weeks, the lake was about 15 feet above normal. The U.S. Army Corps of Engineers has been releasing about 14,000 gallons of water per second from the dam for the past week. That's enough water to fill an Olympic-sized swimming pool every 6 seconds. Debris cleanup is also on the agenda for workers as well.
The shoreline that you're walking up to is not the normal shoreline area. So there's going to be a lot of underwater hazards and obstructions that you can't see, like small trees, logs, and other things like that.
And park rangers say other dangers on the lake include drop-offs that make it inherently dangerous.
The NC Capitol team is looking into former Governor Roy Cooper's future political plans, and that's because he's been stepping up his fundraising efforts, which could mean that he's preparing to run for the seat Senator Tom Tillis plans to vacate. Our team learned that Cooper recently sent a letter to supporters seeking donations, and it calls out Republicans in Washington specifically who approved President Donald Trump's big tax and spending bill. Political analysts say that could mean that Cooper intends to run.
So is it the type of email that you send if you have no further ambition or no interest in generating email lists? Probably not. And the timing of it was pretty salient.
Did not respond to a request for comment. Former Congressman Wiley Nickel is currently the only Democrat seeking the party's nomination for that seat. And you can read more about this story in the NC Capitol section on WRAL.com.
The former superintendent of Durham Public Schools has a new job. Pascal Mubenga announced that he will become superintendent of Buffalo Public Schools in New York. The Buffalo Board of Education says he will start August 15th. Mubenga resigned from Durham Public Schools in February of 2024.
Your time is 8:40. Tracking stolen cell phones.
It was kind of surprising because you don't really expect to be pickpocketed in Charlotte.
The unexpected place it was found before making its way overseas.
And counterfeit goods, what you buy online might not be safe. Up next, how you can avoid getting duped.
And we're currently waiting for an update about a police motorcycle crash involving an officer there. This is a live look at that scene. We are being told that the police chief himself will be there to talk about this. The fact that he's there signals that it could be very serious. We'll bring that live report here on WRAL News.
.44 this morning. Earlier in the morning, we dropped down below 70 for the first time since June the 21st. Now temperatures rising. Again, that earlier sunrise and just the general season allows temperatures to rise a little more quickly. And there's plenty of sun out there outside of Fenton and Cary. Current temperatures are in the mid-70s. We'll take it up a notch heading toward midday. We'll be in the mid-80s heading into the afternoon. High temperatures in the lower 90s. The humidity, though, not too bad, especially comparatively speaking. It's all relative, and where we've been over the past few weeks has been brutal with regards to the humidity. So that's not going to last very long, that relief. Instead, we're going to be looking at this dome of heat. High temperatures 95 to 100 degrees. We'll show you how many days in the 7-day forecast could have some heat advisories. Ken?
Happening now, the WRAL Traffic Center getting right to that situation on I-540 eastbound, that bridge where that FedEx truck went off earlier this morning. And that's where we find WRAL's Allie Catlapar, photographer Michael Jordan, and the WRAL Breaking News Tracker. Allie.
Yes, Ken. Well, right now there's a lot of smoke and steam, but behind all of that, that's where we're seeing a lot of the cleanup efforts underway here. They did flip the truck upright, or part of it. We've also heard them out here with chainsaws. They're cutting into the trailer, trying to put out some more hot spots here. We know this is a hefty cleanup. The battalion chief tells us that there was diesel also leaked. It wasn't only a fire, but there was just also tons of debris from all of the packages that were on board with this trailer here. The driver, again, in the hospital with injuries, but we are just keeping track of this. This is a hefty cleanup. Again, a lot of packages, a lot of debris, and we are going to keep you guys updated, Ken.
Allie Catlapar reporting. As you can see right now, we're not seeing any delays on I-540 or Nightdale Boulevard. We're also monitoring a briefing that should happen just in the next few minutes or so concerning a crash involving a Raleigh police motorcyclist. As soon as that briefing happens, we'll bring it to you here on Fox 50 and WRAL.
A new investigation found critical safety equipment brought from major retailers did not meet basic safety standards. 5 on your side's Keely Arthur has the warning from Consumer Reports about phony safety gear.
I'm in the WRAL Azalea Gardens with this important message. If you have a car seat or a helmet and it hasn't been tested with the minimum safety standards testing, there's really no guarantee that it will protect you or your child during an accident. And we found several instances of untested products being sold online.
Consumer Reports product safety experts recently bought 21 helmets from third-party sellers on Amazon, eBay, Facebook Marketplace, Shein, Temu, and Walmart. 8 of the helmets lacked the required sticker or label declaring compliance with Consumer Product Safety Commission standards, meaning they didn't meet the legal requirements for bike helmets sold in the U.S.
When contacted about these non-compliant helmets, Shein, Temu, and Walmart took down the listings. The listing for the helmet Consumer Reports bought from eBay was already down, and Consumer Reports did not find a non-compliant helmet on Amazon in their investigation. Meta, the owner of Facebook Marketplace, didn't respond to multiple requests for comment. Coming up tonight on WRAL News this evening, I'm going to walk you through the telltale signs to look for to determine whether or not a product has been tested. Keely Arthur, 5 on your side.
A phone stolen from Charlotte has been tracked down to China. Last January, Thomas Baker was out with friends at a bar when his phone was stolen. Baker tracked his phone using Find My iPhone. It was pinged in South Carolina, then at a church in Miami, Florida. And the pastor there says dozens of people from all over the country have reached out about stolen phones.
Started getting people walking up to the church, like, pounding on the doors. Like, hey, my phone is here, my phone is here.
Pastor Gideon has made a police report. Investigators believe the phones are being stored in a nearby location, sent to China, then dismantled for parts and sold.
ACC kickoff continues today in downtown Charlotte. Wake Forest is set to take the stage at 3 this afternoon with the new head coach, Jake Dickert. WRAL's Brian Murphy is covering that story on TV and online for WRAL, and he's looking into the biggest issues facing the ACC, including the new gray area in the world of NIL.
This What's Trending report, sponsored by Rug & Home.
Called a freaky reunion, and Venus Williams' triumph returns to the court.
Yeah, time for a look at what's trending this morning. A reunion on the red carpet last night. Check this out. Lindsay Lohan and Jamie Lee Curtis teaming up again for the sequel to Freaky Friday. Freakier Friday is what it's called. The two co-stars attended the Hollywood premiere with the rest of the cast. The original film, released back in 2003, the new film hits theaters August 8th. I can't wait for that.
And Lindsay Lohan's been having this resurgence, which is very nice. I know she had some years where she struggled there, but I mean, she really has been shining in some recent projects, and it's great. I'm happy to see her happy.
Yeah.
All right, tennis legend Venus Williams returned to the court last night, and she secured her first tour win in 2 years. She defeated 23-year-old Petrin Stearns at the DC Open, and she is the oldest woman to win a tour singles match since 2004. Very exciting.
Two very different international films, each with an impressive pedigree, are coming to the U.S.
Yeah, David Daniel has that and more in today's Hollywood Minute.
Time to cut you down to size. He's not exactly your average kid.
The fantasy sequel, Neja 2, is the year's biggest hit, grossing a reported $2.2 billion worldwide, the highest-grossing movie in Chinese history and the highest-grossing non-English film ever. Now the trailer is out for an English-dubbed version headed to U.S. theaters, including IMAX and 3D screenings, beginning August 22nd.
Ukrainian forces have now launched their much-talked-about counteroffensive.
Expected to be the biggest military operation in Europe since World War II.
The Oscar-winning director of 20 Days in Mariupol returns with 2,000 Miles to Andriivka, showing Ukrainian soldiers battling through a heavily fortified forest on a mission to retake a Russian-occupied village. The film won the Best Director prize at Sundance this year. It opens in New York Friday, with more cities to follow, and will air on PBS Frontline this fall. In Hollywood, I'm David Daniel.
All right, I guess Chris Michaels here doing his bragging tour of this wonderful forecast that we have compared to what we have been seeing.
We'll take it.
Definitely, yeah. It's nice for a change. And certainly the dew points have come up a little bit since this morning, but they'll go back down a little bit heading into the afternoon. It's warm out there. You expect that. Temperatures 72 to 76 degrees. And as we head from morning to afternoon, you see that little bit of a dip in the dew point. So that means that things aren't going to be overly sticky out there. They'll be kind of tolerable, especially as temperatures rise to where they should be. Durham at 90, Raleigh 91, Fayetteville 93, but it's that northeast breeze that's going to prevent the humidity from getting overly sticky like we've seen in recent weeks. So, I mean, if there's a day to have live after 5, it's today, 7 p.m. Temperature is about 87. 9 p.m. we're at about 82. The good thing about the location is that you frequently get some shady spots late afternoon into the evening. That's not really going to help cool you down heading into the weekend, however. High pressure, that big blue H you see there, once it camps out overhead, the air beneath it sinks. When it sinks, it compresses. When it compresses, it warms. So the stronger this is, the hotter we get. And we're looking at high temperatures this weekend, closing in on triple digits. So today, that heat index of 92, it doesn't seem so bad, right? Especially when you look at Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. That's when the heat index could get to 105 to even 110. So there's the likelihood of at least some heat advisories being issued once again heading into the upcoming weekend. So enjoy today while you've got it. Thursday at 93, Friday 96, the air temperature near triple digits Saturday and Sunday. The thing is, it's not just the daytime. The nighttime is going to be very warm as well, 77 to 79 degrees, so there's hardly any relief. The only relief you get from the atmosphere is just going to be some isolated afternoon storms heading into early next week, guys.
All right, thank you, Chris. Before we go to break, here's a look at your winning NC Education lottery numbers. We'll get another check on weather and traffic next.